Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the president insists he does not know what is in these documents, but the White House is hardly being forthcoming. They are being extremely cautious in what they say about this, with this review still ongoing. But now with the news that even more documents were found over the weekend, this sense of a drip, drip, drip has some Republicans and even some Democrats asking new questions and calling for more transparency. Now, the White House insists they are fully cooperating with the special counsel, and they say that is one of the key differences here, that President Biden, they say, is doing this by the book, working with investigators, while former President Trump resisted for months, refusing to turn over those hundreds of classified documents stored at Mar-a-Lago.
And Mary, we heard Republicans asking for visitors' logs there, but those don't exist, right?
Yeah, George, no, they don't. We are told that the president's private residence is private, that he doesn't keep an exact track of who is coming and going, so those logs are something that House Republicans are not going to be getting.
Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Robin?
And George.
Correspondent Mary Bruce. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning again, Georgia. The White House is being pretty tight-lipped about all of this while this review is still ongoing. But with news over the weekend that even more documents have been found, Republicans and even some Democrats now are demanding more transparency. And even some Democrats are now calling for a congressional probe. In the meantime, the White House insists they are fully cooperating with the special counsel. And they say that's one of the big differences here, that they are cooperating, they are working with investigators, while Donald Trump for months refused to turn over those hundreds of classified documents stored at Mar-a-Lago. George?
No evidence at all this is an obstruction case. Okay, Mary, thanks very much.
And senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce and attorney Brian Buckmeyer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start with you, Mary. Now, it's important to note, the president says he doesn't know what is in these documents. But following the appointment of that special counsel, what are the biggest questions right now that the White House is facing?
Look, there are a lot of questions here. And quite frankly, we have a lot of the same questions that the special counsel has, right? What is in these documents? Why were they holding on to them? Who had access to them? And especially, why are they holding on to them so many years after? I think these are all things that both reporters, the public, and the special counsel is looking at. And as you know, the president insists he does not know what is in these documents. He says he was surprised to find out that they were even there. And it may be some time before we really get any clarity here. The White House is being extremely tight-lipped about all of this while this review is ongoing, which in many ways only raises another question, which is, why aren't they being more forthcoming about some of just these basic details?
And Mary, President Biden clearly is in a tricky position when it comes to what he can say about the investigation. Transparency may be best for him politically, but difficult legally. How will the administration balance the two?
It's a really good question, and I think they certainly know that this is politically explosive for this administration. They are adamant that they are being as transparent as possible, that they are doing this all by the book, that they've turned over all of the documents to the proper authorities as soon as they have discovered them. But I do think there's a difference in terms of being transparent with the Justice Department and then also being transparent with the American people. And I think especially after this weekend, when we learned that there were even more documents that were discovered, it does give a sense of this drip, drip, drip. And that may be one of the reasons you are now seeing not just Republicans, but also some Democrats saying that Congress needs to look into this.
And you just heard Brian, Mary mention the drip, drip, drip.
Mary Bruce joining us from the White House. And Mary, the administration still not saying whether they will cooperate with the House investigations.
With the White House is still declining to say whether they will comply with these Republican-led investigations, but they say they are fully cooperating with the Justice Department investigation, which may help this to go quickly. But there's no question, there's a real sense of frustration here at the White House tonight.
All right, Mary Bruce, thank you. Now to that